For over 1,000 years, Egypt was the most powerful kingdom on earth. Its mighty pharaohs rule as living gods, expanding their lands and building wonders that touch the sky. The Great Pyramids, the temples of Karnak and Luxor, and the Valley of the Kings stand as proof of their glory. Pharaohs led great armies, defeated enemies, and made Egypt the richest empire of its time. Gold flows through its temples and priests wield immense power. But one pharaoh changed everything. In 1353 BCE, Akhenaten took the throne, turned his back on the old gods, and declared that only one god, Aten, the sun disk, would be worshipped. The temples of Amun were shut down, statues were destroyed, and the powerful priests lost everything. Egypt was divided. The people whispered the priests' plot and enemies watched from the shadows waiting for Egypt to fall. Then suddenly, in 1334 BCE, Pharaoh Akhenaten died. Some say it was due to sickness, while others believe it was revenge from enemies. Then a boy who was once a prince is now forced to wear the crown. He was Tutankhamun, the son of Akhenaten, born into the wealthiest dynasty in history. At just 9 years old, he became pharaoh. Egypt needed a leader, but he was just a child, surrounded by powerful advisors who would shape his rule. The first decision was clear: undo his father's mistakes. He abandoned Akhenaten's city, Amarna, and moved the royal court back to Memphis. He restored the temples of Amun, the old god of Egypt, and changed his name to Tutankhamun. The people rejoiced. The old ways returned. But Egypt's enemies saw weakness. War was coming. To secure peace, he re-established alliances with the Mitanni. Despite his young age, Tutankhamun was not just a ruler. He was worshipped as a god. His image was carved in temples, and his name was spoken in prayers. He ordered the construction of a royal tomb in the Valley of the Kings, a monument to his legacy. But fate had other plans. At just 18, Tutankhamun died suddenly. Some say it was sickness, malaria and an infected leg injury. Others whisper of something more sinister. His tomb was unfinished, yet he was buried in a rush, placed in a small, non-royal tomb. After his death, his name was erased from history. Egypt moved on, and Tutankhamun was forgotten. But his story wasn't over. More than 3,000 years later, in 1922, British archaeologist Howard Carter made a discovery that stunned the world: the untouched tomb of the boy king, filled with unimaginable treasures, a golden mask that became the face of ancient Egypt. But then, strange things begin to happen. Just months after opening the tomb, Lord Carnarvon, Carter's financial backer, dies suddenly from a mysterious infection. Soon, more members of the excavation team fall ill, suffer accidents, or die under strange circumstances. The newspapers call it the curse of the pharaoh, a deadly warning for those who disturb the resting place of kings. Today, he is one of the most famous pharaohs in history, not because of his rule, but because of what was left behind: his tomb, his treasures, his legend. Tutankhamun lived as a god, died as a mystery, and rose again as a legend.